Coming up on Grab the Remote with Brian and Candler, The Mandalorian Season 2 finale spoiler recap with Season 3 predictions. Also, what's up with that post-credit scene? Release the Dark Troopers and initiate the Mandasode.
Warning. Major spoilers ahead.
Mandasode, yeah!
It's possible that fan service can be well produced, well acted, well directed, well written. Even though fan service starts with an F, it should not be a bad word.
Completely agree with you.
Oh, I want them to stop doing that stupid Disney Star Wars intro at the beginning of every episode, because they do the recap and then they need to just start the episode. But instead, they got to do that. Dun, 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 dun. We're going to show Darth Vader, R2-D2, and C-3PO, and Kylo Ren. I hate it.
I'm a little bumfuzzled, I would say. So
Bumfuzzled.
So this, to start with, we're huge fans of just Star Wars in general. And I don't know, you either are dead inside or you're not a human being if you watch this episode passively. If you just kind of sat there and ate your breakfast and did whatever and watched the episode kind of just half watching. The last couple episodes, I've noticed that my heart is beating. That's just, I'm going to give you, it's just a confession. My heart is beating a lot faster, and this last episode is another example of that.
When did the heartbeat? When did the arrhythmia start? Was this a few episodes ago? Was this the whole run of both seasons, or?
I think when Ahsoka appeared and was, I don't know. That's I guess a good question. I'll have to think about my arrhythmias and when they started.
I mean, I'm sure it happened a few episodes back when you saw that the episode was called The Tragedy.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, completely. This is just making us feel a lot. And so maybe, obviously, we haven't talked about anything. We haven't said anything to each other about the show today. So this is just kind of us riffing, and that is always to be explained. So we have Slave One chasing an Imperial shuttle. In Return of the Jedi, it was called Shuttle Tidarium, but they were sold as the Imperial shuttles. And of course, our favorite nerd, Dr. Pershing, is on there.
The Star Wars universe has glasses. That is true.
Yes, that's true.
And sorry to change the subject, not talk about Star Wars for a minute or The Mandalorian, but I've decided as a parent, instead of telling my kids to be quiet, I'm going to say this the next time they get really loud. I suggest you shut your mouth. This isn't your laboratory. Remember when he said that in the first? I loved it.
Yeah, of course. So they're just going to look up at you and think, oh, man.
Yes.
Dad.
Oh, Dad.
So that's a pretty thrilling scene. Those two pilots, the one that's the final one that Kara dispatches is quite a scum, and he has to say his little Alderaan quips.
So I mean, it made the universe so real. We've got the Alderaan versus the people of both Death Stars. That was just, I mean, talk about fan service being well written. I mean, those couple lines there about Alderaan and the Death Star and the people on it, fantastic.
For the rest of the episode, Dr. Pershing has a black ear from the blaster fire. And Pershing turns out to be a traitor. He gives up information right away. We see that shortly. But then, of course, we have Boba and Din going to find Bo-Katan and her buddy Casca. Had to look that up. Casca Reeves. I don't know. Now, the other Mando gentleman, his name is Axe.
Yeah, where was he?
Well, I think he's on another mission. I think
or another television show.
They just yes, exactly. I think that actor might have gotten a spinoff series.
Yes,
he's on a Walking Dead yet to be named,
or he's in quarantined.
Possibly,
yeah,
certainly. He should have kept his mask on and his mask on
and stayed 6 feet away. Exactly.
So you have Casca versus Boba. There's some good moments there in this bar area. They really insult Boba about being a clone too. Even she says something about sidekicks aren't supposed to talk. But they, went directly to him with the knowledge that he.
I'm glad you said sidekick, because up until now I thought they said psychic. And I'm like, what? Sidekick? No, I'm serious. I thought they said psychic. I'm like, that doesn't make any. Sidekick makes much more sense.
I thought sidekicks. Yeah. She got to really enunciate sidekicks. Yeah.
Yes.
Sidekicks? No, Boba's just a bounty hunter, not a psychic.
We hear Bo-Katan say, "I've heard your voice before." So this is the first time on the show. Of course, we knew that, but this is the first time on the show they referred to Boba as a clone, which was interesting.
Certainly. So they finally get it together. Everybody wants some peace, and everybody. If you mention the kid, everybody kind of is called to action. The kid's missing. So that leads us to the hyperspace tandem of the Imperial shuttle and Slave One, and the plan has begun.
The caper.
This might be larger than a caper, like this.
True.
So we then we have the assault, right, or caper, which is also exciting, right? We have the TIE fighters coming out of the tube.
TIE fighter pilots that just sit there all day and night, just ready to go at any moment, just sitting there in the cockpit. Did you notice that?
Just waiting.
Yeah.
Well, they got to be doing something, right? They're on a shift, right? Is that?
Yeah. So they sit in that cockpit and just with the chance that Slave One or somebody
happen.
Yeah. And then Boba Fett goes somewhere. More on that later. But he leaves basically. So why does he leave? So the TIE fighters would chase him. Why does he leave?
Well, that's a good question. His work was done.
Yes.
I thought we might have a Boba Fett Deus Ex Machina, but we have someone else.
Right.
Come in and save the day.
Because Fennec is still there with Mando. So you know where I'm going with this.
I do.
So the shuttle arrives, and I thought it was interesting that Mando chooses to hang back. He hangs back. He lets the ladies go first, and they go and kick some serious tail. And then he slowly comes out, part of the plan. A lot of fun there.
Oh, that was fantastic. And also not ham-handed. Like Axe is not there, but it's just them doing their job. And and it's really great to see all these characters that we love in action. The Dark Troopers are then activated, which is exciting. On a side note, this is the first time we really get a good look at these guys, and there is a lot of dread to me with the Dark Troopers because just their power, and we see that when we have one Dark Trooper versus Din. Yeah. But they also, if for anyone who existed before Star Wars toys, they look like Baron Karza, who was a Micronaut. So in the 70s, there were a lot of great toy lines, but the Micronauts was one of them. Put up an image now of Baron Karza.
Future self, put it up right now.
But that's what they remind me of, a Micronaut figure. I also love the Shogun Warriors, if we're talking 70s toys. Back to it, though. Din has to keep these Dark Troopers away. One gets loose, and then, to me, this was filmed like a horror movie. I was I was on edge during the fight. How did you feel during the Din versus Dark Trooper fight?
It was incredible. And of course you're thinking, well, if just one of them can do that, what about more of them?
I know.
There's a recurring theme with the Mandalorian. Use the flamethrower first. Use the flamethrower first. They always wait on that. It's like the third or fourth thing they do.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, he used every bag of tricks and then pulled out the spear that I would probably lose. I would lose my grip on if I was holding the Beskar spear. But he finally takes the thing down, and then of course we have all the Dark Troopers going out of the airlock.
And before that, him getting punched in the face. That was intense.
Absolutely. Yes.
And Brian, I've really tried to stay away from spoilers, but I did hear rumors that that Mando is going to leave, and then Boba is going to be the new Mandalorian for the show. So there was a point where I thought Den might lose it.
That would have been a huge bummer. So thank you,
Yes.
writers Favreau for not
Galaxy. I heard another rumor that Baby Yoda, Grogu, was gonna bite it. I thought that no way.
Let's talk about the very formidable Gideon versus Din. So you have Din holding the Darksaber on Grogu. Of course, you never turn your back on a snake in the grass, right? Like
No.
For him to go over there, like with his back turned to this viper, I was like, why? Even I have no training of any kind. You know, I would be dead in 3 seconds in the Star Wars universe. Yet, I would actually watch Gideon as I'm picking up my baby, my child. So then you have this great battle. Every great lightsaber battle or battle like this in the Star Wars universe with implications comes, again, more excitement. So I just love their battle.
How horrifying would this be? You get your child back from being kidnapped, and then he says, "Oh, I got all I needed."
Oh
What about
yeah,
his
totally.
blood. I mean, that's got to come into play next season. So the dark troopers are blown out into space. I'm wondering, are we going to see them again? And we do.
Of course.
And then everyone's back on the bridge with, I love the line, "You spared my life."
Yeah.
He was surprised, and yet how stupid of you to do that.
I'm always a little angry when I feel like Dr. Pershing should be dead like 5 times.
Yeah.
Every time he's he's a worm, of course, too. So to have Gideon, who's as we understand, a great villain, he's well written. To have him still alive, I'm like, well, okay, all right, here he is again. So this leads to the finale or the finale.
Yes. So a lot of things come up. So first of all, we've got the Darksaber, and Moff Gideon explains to the audience that Bo-Katan is going to have to fight to get that Darksaber. Mando's, hey, don't worry about it. Just keep it. I relent. Whatever. I yield.
Right.
And we're like, great. Is this going to be like Kirk and Spock in the classic Star Trek episode? If we do not fight until the death, they will kill us both. It's so pretty cool. But then I started thinking, so Bo-Katan, in some ways, her character seems to be written orthodox, but then in other ways not orthodox Mandalorian. It's like, I'm going to keep my helmet off, but yet I have to do this.
So many sects out there.
So many
SECTS. Sex. So many.
Yes. And then we hear the return of the Dark Troopers. How many life signs? None. That was awesome. That was awesome because I knew exactly what they were talking about.
Before I forget, the Dark Troopers seem to have they got their own theme song this episode, which is kind of a synth, like techno thing happening, which is really excellent. And I think we've talked about it, but this musician is wonderful. Put his name up on the screen, please. He has also created a marvelous and memorable Boba Fett theme, which we also get at the end. But we got that with the tragedy as well. So when the X-Wing flew by, my initial thought is Luke.
My initial thought was Filoni.
I don't know. Filoni.
Yeah.
Not Fellini? Filoni.
Filoni.
You say Dave Filoni. I say, I don't know. So one of the 2 guys that they encountered when the spider got him. Those guys? The spider? Okay,
that's what I thought.
Right.
That's what I thought at first.
So it's Luke, 5 years after Return of the Jedi.
But I'll tell you when I knew it wasn't Filoni, when Baby Yoda's ears perked up. I'm like, it's a Jedi or some sort of Force user.
So this leads us to me, it's kind of like how in Rogue One we get to see Darth Vader dispatch all those poor Alderaan troopers. Mm-hmm. When he's he's taking everybody away. This is Luke's moment to be a formidable Jedi to destroy all these dark troopers, and he really lays waste. Even that last one where he basically just squeezes him, he squeezes that last one down, which is fantastic.
Yes.
So we have our Return of the Jedi 5 years after Luke Skywalker back in what will be talked about for at least 1 year, because now we have 1 year for conjecture and thoughts and all the things that are going to happen between now and the next Star Wars television show. I like when old cute meets new cute. We get our original favorite cutie, R2D2, meets Grogu for the first time.
I got 2 words for you. The biggest surprise of this episode for me was my reaction to R2. I had a bigger reaction for R2 than I did for Luke. Maybe it was because I was like, I was like, yes. I think I did it, yes. And I guess I didn't do that for Luke, which shocks me. You'd think it would be a bigger reaction. But seeing R2 there just pop in there, he's always just taking his time, just, hanging back, shows up a few minutes late, but he was there, and that was awesome.
Loved it. I loved it. So I feel like now is the time to go, like, as a fan, right? So I would say that we're, we've talked about it. There's a lot of different types of fans. So I think we're mega fans. Maybe, like I've donated a large part of my life to thinking about Star Wars, reading Star Wars, loving it. Here we have something that's interesting. We're leading up to the new trilogy. And, I really don't have any worries, but I do feel like that Jon Favreau and company are figuring out a way to not let the new trilogies be so terrible. And that's where I'm going to get a little divisive here. The Last Jedi is really, really an awful movie for many reasons. The Force Awakens had some great starts, as we've talked about. And then they tried to fix everything very quickly with Rise of Skywalker. It's kind of like an improv scene where your partner doesn't yes and you. All of a sudden, you just have to fix it. You have to fix it yourself, right? So what Favreau's trying to, who knows what's going to happen, but now we have Luke Skywalker, the hero's journey, the greatest hero in Star Wars history, coming in contact with Grogu. What now happens before the Force Awakens? Yeah. That's the to me the crucial question, is that how does it all go so bad for Luke Skywalker? And that's where I am right this second.
Yeah, I was in thinking about next season, where do they go from here? How much will we see of Luke? How much do we want to see of Luke? If you were to tell me that season 3 is great, we'll only see Luke in maybe 1 episode, I'm completely fine with that. We've seen him, we know he's there. That's incredible. But where do we go from here? Well,
I tell you, there's a few things here, and this is where I am glad I'm either right or wrong. Who knows? The teaser happened, so if you just, anyone who just stopped the episode when the credits rolled, just realize they just marveled us with a post-credits scene about minute 43. So let's talk about that, and then I'll tell you where I think we go from here. So we're back on Tatooine. We get we see Jabba's old palace.
Grimorian guards.
Beautifully recreated. Riyi's in the background, Weequay, and Bib Fortuna, Jabba the Hutt's very stupid lackey, sitting on the throne. He is obese. And now,
I noticed that.
The only thing that I want now, and I wish they'd hurry up, I want a Black Series obese Bib Fortuna action figure.
Nice.
He even has his staff. Like, that's the exact same staff that he had. So they love it. They love their attention to detail. To me, that's fan service. If you have Bib Fortuna's exact staff from Return of the Jedi. So somehow fat Bib Fortuna is in charge now. Boba Fett and Fennec come in, murder everyone. They rescue a Twi'lek slave girl, and then the Boba Fett theme music starts. He kicks obese Fortuna off the throne, and he sits down, not unlike if you remember Conan the Barbarian, there's like a scene at the very end where Conan, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, like sitting on the throne. And then we have the Book of Boba Fett. Like, it's basically a teaser for a show. Now, is this season 3, the Book of Boba Fett, or is this the Book of Boba Fett, a new show that will be debuting in 1 year?
Well, as you know, they recently had the investors meeting where they announced all these Star Wars shows. I mean, there was something like a 13 or something. I think even
oh boy,
the Banking Clan had a
money,
money. And so I think they mean season 3, because I feel like they would have announced that already. But you know what? I think I'm hoping it's season 3.
So is this a shift to season 3 being called the Book of Mandalorian, the Book of Boba Fett? And then we have basically what fans have talked about and wanted, which is well, obviously we're going to have more Boba Fett on the show, but right. Does it take away from what Din Djarin, Silent D, and Grogu are going to be doing? Gosh, I don't know.
Yeah, or maybe that's just the first episode. Just like this episode was The Rescue, the next episode is The Book of Boba. I mean, unbelievable. It was just incredible. This finale was incredible.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
I was just going to say that the ending, I keep coming back to Fennec because I like Fennec a lot. I think she's really cool. She's a really cool character. And I feel like she's been underused since she's returned. I understand there's a lot going on, but I think that end point makes sense for her because there's I'm sure there's a lot of talk with that. You know, Boba's saying to Fennec, "You stay with me, and then we'll leave the hut together." So that makes a lot of sense.
Criminal Empire,
the hut.
I just know, how are they going to get rid of all those bodies? You know, they left all the bodies all just flopped around. Somebody's got to get rid of those.
Use the flamethrower.
Yeah.
Always use the flamethrower.
And you know what happens is you incinerate everything and then you let it fall into the Rancor pit.
Yes.
Underneath. You know, the Rancor is probably down there still, like the bones of the Rancor are down there.
Ryan, this was directed by the same director that directed the Frog Lady episode.
Is that true? Is this Ant-Man director?
The Ant-Man director.
For a year, we'll be talking about Grogu and young Luke Skywalker are together. What does that look like?
Mando removing his helmet. That was awesome.
Absolutely. That's something that needed to happen, obviously. And of course, the connection between father and son. And that's what I say, father and son. So it's like his baby's going off to school, but they needed that his hand to touch Din's face. And I just you got to see Pedro Pascal. I mean, we already know he's a very fine actor, but to see him in that moment was poignant.
It was poignant.
It was poignant.
Very poignant. Predictions. When do you think Grogu and Din Djarin will be reunited? Because that's going to be a wonderful moment next season. When do you think that will happen?
Reunited, and it feels so good.
That's a deep cut.
That is a deep cut. You know, let me put this out there. Yoda passed away at 900 years old. All right. Grogu is 50. Let's go 800 years into the future and see where Grogu goes. Like, that's a series that I can get behind.
Nice.
Did I just blow your mind?
You did blow my mind.
Thank you. Where is he during The Force Awakens, Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker?
I think he's frozen in carbonite. I've said that before. I'm going to say it again.
Okay. We'll see if the prediction comes true. Nice work.
I was right about Luke Skywalker.
And no one could have predicted Bib Fortuna. I want some nerd out there to say I was right that Bib Fortuna took over as Jabba's. That
was awesome.
Some mouth breather is proud about that.
A Mando without Grogu. What does this do to his character?
Mando without Grogu. I mean, again, I think that's going to be something we have to think about, because if the Book of Boba Fett is season 3 as opposed to its own series, then we're having a complete tone shift, a tonal shift to like, what now is Boba Fett doing as running this criminal syndicate or whatever he's doing?
Which is awesome.
I know.
It's
like
so cool.
And I totally missed this, by the way. It's all an afterthought, but I'll bring it up again. It's like the next, what I thought, I was like, well, the next, of course, the series that we want to see is the Chronicles of Obese Bib Fortuna. But then, of course, but then he dies. He got killed right away. He was so fat.
And was Finnick drinking blue milk at the end?
I don't think so. I think she was drinking some sort of wine.
I really need to.
Wine.
I want to see and learn more about Finnick's character next season. She is really cool.
You love that Finnick. You do love that.
She's a
Finnick.
cool character, man. She's a cool character.
And again, who knows what's going to happen between now and then? But I feel like that they're going to fix everything. And I don't know if they can. They can't explain away the prequel trilogy, but I think they're going to put it in context of like maybe even his failure with Grogu as well kind of has put Luke in a place too. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
That's interesting and fun. But gosh, I swear, man.
I am surprised that nobody died.
Me too. I thought Bo-Katan was dead,
Yeah.
but then she pops back up.
Yeah. What happens the moment those doors close? He's teared up, and then she gets the Darksaber, and they start fighting.
I don't think so.
Or does she say, "Let me give you a minute"?
Yeah, take a moment. I will say this: there might be a missed golden moment. If I mean, this is actually just a missed close up, and it's a Cara Dune close up of the recognition that she knows who Luke is because she's a rebel dropper. She's Alderaan. You got to know who Luke Skywalker is. So she could be like her just going, whoa.
Yeah.
For them to have Luke come in like he does and save everybody and get Baby Yoda, it just, I mean, it's like everybody who was in pain over what the trilogy did, this has like soothed them, I think.
Totally.
Just a great soothing.
But it was awesome. It was awesome seeing them.
Yeah. And like every episode was so different. That's the one thing. Every episode was so good and so different. So if you go to Ahsoka's episode, if you go to Mayfeld's episode, and you go to the season finale, all 3 of those episodes are just, I'm watching different things happening. I love that. And that's why I missed the opportunity of like, if we've watched 8 hours of The Mandalorian, some of these characters have done more than any of the characters that we love in the original trilogy.
True.
You know, like Din Djarin has done more in the Star Wars universe than Yoda.
That's
right?
true. That's true.
Don't screw it up.
Don't screw up season 3. I'm Candler.
Merry Christmas, Candler.
Merry Christmas to you and Happy New Year. And this is Grab the Remote, Mandosode, the finale.